You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles. I'm Frank because I have to be. In studio today, I have a gentleman who goes by the name of Steve P. He runs the website sensualawakenings.com, and this man was a personal mentor of mine. I consider it an absolute pleasure and honor that he's taken some time out of his very busy schedule to come into studio and have some Frank Talks. Welcome to Frank Talks. Steve, how you doing?
Real good, Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing great. All right, let's start off with our first question. The point of this first segment of the interview is that I'd really like you to relate to the audience just the fact how you got into the current lifestyle you're in, elements from your childhood and your upbringing, which eventually led you to this. The idea here is to show them that if they're in the similar situation that you were in, they can also find their way to living the lifestyle you live. So first question, where were you born? And elements in your childhood that eventually led you to your current lifestyle?
I was actually born in a small farming community in the desert of California, a place called Calexico. Actually, I was born in the same hospital that Cher was born in. The hospital is no longer there because it went bankrupt. But anyways, it served a farming community for a lot of years.
So same hospital that Cher was born in?
Yeah.
Around the same time, or were you maybe the same?
She's older than I am. But it was like one of the major hospitals down in the desert region there for a long, long time out by the Salton Sea.
And how long were you there for in terms of your upbringing?
I went to kindergarten there. I remember that because the place I grew up was called Holtville. It was the carrot capital of the world for years and years. I don't know if it still is or not. But they used to make this at the carrot carnival. They had a carrot carnival parade, and we marched around in a little rabbit suits, and this is out in the desert. I mean, 108, 110 degrees. So it's like we're trying to tear these rabbit suits off. So
I can't imagine you, even as a child, in a rabbit suit.
Well, I don't think looking back that I can really imagine myself in one either. But anyways, from there we moved up to the mountains, which was quite a big difference. And that's actually where, in my first year, the school, sixth grade girls kind of attacked me, and that's where I got my first head.
Really? How old were you at that time?
I think sixth, maybe first grader. And it was kind of weird at first because back then, if you even peed around a girl, our fathers would just whoop a belt off and just tear your ass up.
Yeah.
And so if you were out and you didn't want to walk into the restroom and you were peeing on the ground, I mean, principals would just take a belt off and beat you when I went to school. So it's a lot changed in all these years. But
so let me get this straight. You were in first grade when two sixth grade girls decided to have their way with you? Or
yeah.
What was it? I mean, I'm just trying to understand this. Was it as a means of trying to be violent with you? Was it a means of?
Well, it was kind of. I mean, one of them had a butter knife, and like they coerced me into taking them up and showing them my rock fort, because out there in the mountains, all kids have little forts and stuff. And then they wanted to see my privates, and the girl pulled out a butter knife. Now, a butter knife wouldn't have hurt me, but at that age, I was freaking out. I'm going, oh my God, they want to see my privates, and they got a knife. Oh shit. So I did the only thing that I could think of, and that was pick up a rock and smack the chick in the head with it has the knife. When we came down, they covered me in front of my dad, saying, he was trying to, he went up ahead of us to make sure there weren't any spiders and stuff, and we didn't wait. We just jumped, and then she slipped and hit her head. My dad didn't buy into that shit too much. He still beat me with the belt, but it was worth the price, because after that, I go, look, if you guys don't bring a knife, anytime you want to, suck my privates, you can do that.
It's really amazing that you would have taken that kind of reaction to it, because, in all honesty, this was an assault. You were still able to turn that around and frame it as something positive. I mean, your father beat you right after that. For most guys, that kind of experience would have turned them off from girls, turned them off from sex. What was it about you that made you say, well, you know what, come on back, leave the knife, and we can enjoy this?
What was it? I don't know. Maybe it's a past life I had. Who knows? But the thing is that, there were two girls, and, we ended up having, we lived there for about 3 years, and we had cave sex in my little rock fort. And it was a great sport, and they loved doing it. I mean, one of the girls, her mother was one of the town prostitutes. And there was like she worked at the truck stop, with all the truckers and all that. and the little girl would peek through and watch mom servicing guys. So that's why they wanted to see, how mom was making all this money and stuff.
Okay, so there was already something in place that fueled these girls to take that kind of an action. This wasn't just out of the blue.
Well, one of the girls, but then the other girl told the other girl, and these girls were, kissing and licking each other because they saw their mom go down on a girl. So they were already exploring stuff, and this was sixth graders. So, it was kind of a, and I mean, I hear all this thing about, wow, you're a natural. It's because you got an early start, and this is the whole natural theory thing. I don't really buy into that because a couple of these girls were going down on my brothers, too. And my brothers still live more of a straight life than I live. I mean, not that I live crooked life, but the thing is that they live a more, what you might say, contemporary or reserved life. Like where I still date multiple women all the way through high school. I think I might have gone out with one or two high school girls, but most of the time I went out with women that were in college, and mainly because high school chicks were a bunch of little bitches. They'd let you rub their tits or this or that. If you hop through all the hoops, you bought them this shit or that shit, then it was okay. And I said, fuck you, get away from me. And the more I told them to get the fuck away from me, the more they started trying. I had to be the guy that they had to see. And I just go, look, if you want to come in here, put your ass in here, be in my camper, have your panties pulled down, your dress pulled up, I'm going to fuck you and I'm throwing your ass out. Otherwise, I don't even have time for you, stupid bitch. They go, well, can't we even just hang out a little bit? I go, no, there ain't no hanging out. You're a stupid high school chick. I know what the fuck you want. You want to play fuck games and head games. And I mean, you got to understand, I was a real ruffian, too, when I was in high school. My dad was a boxer also, so we grew up in a boxing household, and I had 5 brothers and 1 sister, and all of us learned how to box pretty well. So somebody gave a shit, we just punched their lights out. I mean, I took martial arts years later. I tournament fought for a few years, and it's a whole different thing than this mixed martial arts that they're doing now. The thing is that in doing that, what martial arts did with me was I got to go into a ring, and I worked out at the dojo about 4 to 6 hours a day, mainly Japanese styles, but then we started branching off into, some of the Hapkido and stuff like that. And then we went into some Kung Fu, or I started studying some of that with some other friends, because it was really more about getting in there and mixing it up.
Now, I got to ask you something here. Based on your experience over the number of years that you've been helping out guys, do you find that there's a correlation between how comfortable they are with women in general and the earlier that they have sex? Because in your case, I mean, you were still a kid.
Well, no, I don't find that, because I know other people that I call late bloomers, guys that are in their 20s or mid-20s before they ever get laid. And the thing is this is going to sound really messed up, Frank, but you've heard me say it enough times. And now there's a big movement toward the whole inner game thing. See, once they put a label on it, then it's okay to use it. But my thing is, if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, how the hell are you going to have a good relationship with other people? See, people call me they call me all kinds of different names, like pickup artist, now master pickup artist. I don't consider that I'm a pickup artist at all. What I do is I teach people about relationships with themselves, and then how to build relationship with others. And that doesn't matter if you want to have